Good evening, everyone. Today is April 12th, 2023, and this is the Michigan Notary Network call. Today, we are excited to have Shayla McElroy from Project Clean Slate here to tell us about what Project Clean Slate does and how notaries can help in their mission. There's also a volunteer effort that they're always looking for notaries for. So we're excited. There's somebody on this call that's volunteering tomorrow for the first time at Project Clean Slate. So hopefully she has a few questions teed up. But I'm going to turn it over to Shayla. If you would please introduce yourself, tell us, how long you've been at Project Clean Slate and what they do and everything that you want us to know and how we can help you.
Okay, yep. So if it was okay, I had made like a short little PowerPoint presentation to share. Is that okay? Or want me to just speak to the group?
Yes, absolutely. You can share screen.
You can share screen.
Cool. So yeah, my name is Shayla McElroy, and I am the Community Engagement Manager for Project Clean Slate. I've been with the team now about a year and 4 months. So I'm still rather new, not the newest, but one of the newer people on the team. And I will say so far, it has been my favorite position to hold and my favorite team to work with outside of working at Build-A-Bear when I was in high school. So I really, really love what I do. I love the mission. I love the impact that it has on Detroiters. And it's just a great program. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and do a quick share screen. Just to kind of talk to you a little bit more about PCS. Okay, cool. So Project Clean Slate. So who we are, Project Clean Slate is the City of Detroit's free expungement program. And so Mayor Duggan started this initiative back in 2016. He and a group of bipartisan state legislators came together and said, hey, we noticed that a lot of Detroiters are having issues as it relates to housing and employment, especially when they have misdemeanors and felonies on their record. So let's see if there's something that we can put into law to help these individuals. And as a result, they created the Clean Slate Act, which pretty much opened the door for record expungement here in the state of Michigan. So really quickly, here's our team of attorneys and legal assistants. Right now, we have a team of 7 full-time staff, and then we have a handful of contracted attorneys who work with us part-time to simply support us with the expungement hearings. And then just really quickly, here are our core values: quality customer service, effective communication, teamwork, and positivity. The two that we really hold nearest and dearest to our heart is effective communication. And so we say that because every Tuesday, everybody in our system, everybody in our database, they get a weekly Tuesday case status update. And so what we find is that post-expungement, when people do their kind of like their exit feedback survey, they always put in the survey that like we over communicated, they always knew where they were. We could have limited the amount of emails that we sent per week. But again, for us, that's a good thing because we want people to know where they're at in the process. And then lastly, positivity. We're really big on that just because we recognize that this process can be a little nerve-wracking, especially having our clients having to go back and meet with like officers and judges and things like that. We recognize that at times it can be triggering. And so we make sure that we try to keep like an upbeat, positive attitude with everybody that we're interacting with. And then a lot of people say, well, Shayla, what do you say to people who don't believe in second chances? Or what do you say to people that don't believe in expungement? And so I shoot out the numbers. And so what we know now is that as it stands, there's about 168,000 Detroiters who are eligible for expungement. And so it's PCS's mission to make sure that we touch all 168 Detroiters and help them get their records expunged. A lot of the times when people are completing our registration form, 90% of them have cited new or better employment opportunities as their primary reason for seeking expungement. And then we've also noticed that 1 year post-expungement, our clients experience a 23% wage increase, and then 82% of our clients cite the removal of stigma as the greatest benefit of expungement. And so, again, you know, a lot of people experience a lot of housing discrimination if they have felonies on their record. Again, sometimes they're declined job opportunities. Some people talk about how they try to get financial aid for school, and because they have a felony on their record, they can't even get the financial aid for college. So it's like, if you can't get employment, you can't get housing, you can't get an education. It's just like, how is a person supposed to be successful? And so again, that's why expungement is important. Some other things that we've learned throughout this experience is that we get some older adults whose parents are becoming ill or they can't take care of themselves. And a lot of people will say, you know, I was denied the guardianship of my parent because I have the felony on the record. Can you help me with the expungement? Things like that. We also had a lady whose son was murdered, and she talked about how he could never get life insurance for his girls because of the convictions on his record. So those are also some of those kind of like rare instances and stories that you typically don't hear about, but it just shows how these convictions really impact not just the individual, but like their families as well. So here are a look at the numbers. And so that first year that this program was established, you can see that we only got 8 expungements. And at that time, we only had 3 attorneys on the team. So they were doing the best that they could. They were fighting for their life, you know, that first year trying to get these expungements out. But as you can see, as we continue to build out the team, we extremely increased in numbers. And so in 2022, we had our biggest year yet, hitting over 2,200 expungements. And then again, this year, so far, we're sitting at 710 expungements. And so at this rate, we're already on course to surpass this 2022 metric. And I see something in the chat, so I'm just going to look real quick. Oh, hand clap. Thank you.
It's hand claps because that is fantastic. That is really
Thank you so much.
fantastic.
All right. So did I skip one? Nope. Okay, so here's our process. So how does expungement work? So the first thing that people do is they can go to our website, which is www.detroitmi.gov/PCS. They'll see a banner towards the bottom of the screen that says register now, and they'll just simply go ahead and answer those questions on the registration form. Once they have completed that registration form, then our team of attorneys will then pull their criminal record, review it, and determine if what's listed on there is eligible for expungement. Once we have determined eligibility, we will move them to the next step. So if they're not eligible, we'll give them a solid breakdown on why they aren't eligible for expungement. If they are eligible for expungement, then we send them a congratulations email and let them know that we're moving to the next step, which is then ordering their certified court records so we can verify that everything on the arrest record matches with everything that's actually filed with the court. Once we verify that information, then we go ahead and we get them scheduled for an appointment with our team and our volunteers at the Detroit Police Department's 3rd precinct, which at that time, they get their expungement application, they get a copy of their iChat, they sign their app, and then they also get it notarized, which I'll talk about that a little bit towards the end of the presentation. Once they've completed this step of their fingerprinting and their application, then we go ahead and we file the expungement application, which pretty much means we mail it up to the Michigan State Police, who at that point, they then double check the application to make sure everything in the packet is correct. Once everything checks out as okay, then we're given a letter saying we can go ahead and schedule an expungement hearing, which at that time, our team of attorneys will prep the client and then we'll go with them to court. And then hopefully at court, they go ahead and they get their expungement granted. It is important to know that just because someone has convictions that are eligible for expungement, it doesn't guarantee an expungement, because at the end of the day, the judge still has the discretion to say yes or no to the expungement. And then just to kind of hit you with numbers again, so far this year, we've gotten 4 denials. Last year, we got 8. So we pretty much have like a solid track record of making sure that our clients get their expungements granted. So eligibility. So one, if I didn't say this already, our program is totally free. On average, your expungement is somewhere between $1,500 to $2,000. But again, with our program, we take care of it at no cost. It's only available to City of Detroit residents. And so we make sure that we take a look at their ID to verify the address. The state legislation says that a person can get up to 3 felonies expunged and an unlimited amount of misdemeanors. Additionally, in 2021, they added a new rule to the legislation called one bad night, simply meaning that if an individual committed or got multiple convictions within a 24-hour time period, then all of those convictions could possibly be counted as one in the event that they are eligible for expungement. So kind of like to break that down a little bit more, if somebody had gotten 15 felonies within a 24-hour time period, and those are eligible for expungement, then those 15 felonies could count as one, which is why sometimes people can get more than 3 felonies expunged. And then traffic convictions can be expunged. However, we get a lot of people that will reach out about traffic tickets. And so how I break that down is that we can expunge anything that has gone through criminal court, but we can't expunge anything that has gone through civil court. So that is our eligibility. Other things that's important is that people have to make sure that they have no more current or open or pending court cases. They have to make sure that they pay their court fees and restitutions, and they can't have any active warrants. Those are also things that will cause an expungement to be denied. And then this is just how people register again when they go to the website. This is the form that populates, and they'll just answer these couple of questions and press submit. Again, they can reach us on the website. And they can also email us at Project Clean Slate at detroitmi.gov. And then we recognize everybody doesn't have access to the internet, so they can also call us and we can complete the registration form over the phone. So why I'm here today is that we need you. And so when we are at the DPD's 3rd precinct, well, one, let me just say that they're one of our major partners. And we're really grateful that they have allowed us to come into their space to do this application signing day all at once, because there are multiple steps that need to be completed, and to be able to do it in a one-stop shop is amazing, and it helps us to expedite the process. Again, our team is still pretty small. A lot of it is made up, again, by the contract attorneys who only help with the expungement hearings. And so we have one attorney that goes to the precinct, and then we have a legal assistant that goes to the precinct, but then we need support with people helping with the fingerprint cards. And then we also need support with notarizing the applications. And so on our team right now, we have one person who is a notary, but she's also our person that makes sure that we get all of our court records in for people. Like, that's her job. And so we're always looking for people to volunteer with the fingerprint process or volunteer to notarize the expungement application. And so what it looks like is that the application is about 3 pages long. And on that second page is just a little blurb at the bottom that needs an official notary stamp and date. And then the client is then, able to go ahead and sign that application. And so honestly, if it wasn't for the people who volunteer for our program, just got to be real, we would not be able to hit those numbers that we hit, because we will always be backlogged on making sure that we can find somebody that can notarize these applications for us. So it's you all that really help us to achieve that high volume of expungements and applications being filed. And then again, if anybody on the call is interested in volunteering, the way that you would do that is just going to our website, www.detroitmi.gov/PCS. Same thing at the bottom of the page, there's a little banner that says volunteer with us. And you can just click that banner and it'll populate the form. That'll show like the volunteer dates and times. What you'll notice on the form is that we are there every Thursday at the 3rd precinct, and we're there from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Because we were really struggling to find people who were able to volunteer for that long period of time, what we did is we split that shift in half. And so now people can either sign up for the full day, or they can do a half a day, either from 8 to 12 or from 12 to 4. just to make it a little bit easier on people. So those are the volunteer days and times. And this part, I just want to show you a quick video. Last year, we celebrated National Expungement Week. And so all of our clients who received expungements years past, we invited them to come out to the Pistons practice facility just to have food, meet some of the players, meet the coach and things like that, just to congratulate them on their expungement. So this is just a video from that event.
Project Clean Slate was great, easy, and the people are professional, very professional.
I'm just blessed. I'm very grateful for this program.
I was shocked, actually, that they actually freed me. That's how I felt like I was free.
Without this program, I wouldn't be closer to my goal, and my goal is to become a lawyer.
It was a piece of cake, just a quick tap of a button on Facebook.
This program is easy. Mayor Duggan, the governor, everybody has got together, the judges. It's just so many people who have said that we deserve a second chance. People deserve a second chance.
It helps the community with what the community needs most. The idea that somebody makes a mistake in the past and that mistake follows them for however long it does is something that we could have corrected a long time ago.
Basically, how I found out about it, I was trying to get a second job to provide for my family, and I was denied that second job because of my criminal history. And when I applied for it, I sent it in. It took a minute, but I'm thankful for Operation Clean Slate. I'm able to do what I need to do for my family.
The burden had been lifted, and I knew it and understood it. I was keenly aware of what was actually happening and what it meant for my future.
I feel great. I mean, to be free, I feel free.
This program is not a gimmick. It's not a trick. It is as good as we say it is. It's totally free to eligible Detroiters, 100% free. You don't pay anything. And so if you have any misdemeanors or felonies, you, family, friends, whoever, just send them our way so we can take care of you and see if we can get those expunged for you. Okay, so that's our presentation. And so at this time, I'll just kind of stop. And if anybody has any questions, I can go ahead and answer those questions now.
I do. I have some. Well, first I want to make a clarification because people are going to be watching this and I want people to know. You said that we would notarize it and then they would go ahead and sign it. But we notarize signatures, not documents. So the people have to sign it. They have to show us ID, then they sign, and then we can notarize their signature. Just to clarify that for anybody who's listening.
Proper process, yeah.
We do kind of go with the whole proper process here on this this meeting circuit that we're on. Okay, I have a couple different questions. Do we have to be a Wayne County notary in order to participate as a volunteer?
No, you don't have to be solely a Wayne County notary.
Okay, great. And that's good to know. Are there other counties that do this or other cities that do it besides Detroit?
Yeah, so right now we're the only program like this in the state. So
and so is it the convictions only like Detroit, or is it just for residents of Detroit, or how does that work?
Yep. So in order to register for our program, you have to be a City of Detroit resident.
Okay.
Once we have deemed your convictions eligible, we can expunge anything from the state of Michigan.
Oh, okay.
We can't expunge anything out of state.
But
so even if you have convictions from like Southfield, we can still expunge those.
But it's only if you live in the city of Detroit.
Correct.
Okay, good to know.
Yep.
And this is more like a gossipy thing, but what's like the most commonly expunged conviction?
Marijuana convictions.
Is it? Okay. I was kind of thinking it was like that pesky little marijuana that's now legal. Like, let's get rid of those.
Yeah.
So you say that it's free. How do you keep this going? Is this a nonprofit? Where does the money come from?
Yep. So no, we're not a nonprofit. We are a City of Detroit program.
Okay.
So the city has budgeted money for our program, and then our executive director does a really good job with getting grants.
I love that. That is great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Over to somebody else now. I'm all through my.
Okay, I'll go. I didn't see anybody come off. I participated in the Wayne County Expungement Fair last summer, and I think in that instance, you just had to be part of Wayne. You had to live in Wayne County. It wasn't just the city of Detroit. Was that a special thing, or like how often does something like that pop up?
Yep. So that's a great question because we get that a lot. I saw Project Clean Slate at the Expungement Fair. It's like, nope, it wasn't us. So while on camera, I want to say PCS does not do expungement fairs. However, sometimes we get invited to expungement fairs in case somebody may have registered for Project Clean Slate and they kind of want to see where they're at in the process with us. But generally, expungement fairs are hosted by a totally different entity. And now to alleviate the confusion, we don't even go anymore. Just simply because we really have a good process in place. And those situations can kind of like mess up our good thing that we have going. So that's the first thing. Also, something that I want to say about expungement fairs too is that depending on the fair, when individuals go to these fairs, a pro bono attorney may tell them, hey, yep, I looked at your record. You qualify for expungement, but here's the application for you to figure it out on your own now. And don't handhold them through the process like our team will. Also, when that happens, they have to pay for it. And eventually they may need an attorney to go to court with them. That can be expensive. Again, we alleviate all of that. We see them 2 times, once to sign the application, and then we see them at the hearing. I went on like a tangent. What was the second half of your question?
I think you answered my question.
Okay.
But I do have another one. Yesterday on the news, this is so relevant because it all just kind of happened together. On the news, I don't know if anybody else saw it, but Michigan is going to start doing automatic expungements. So I'm assuming that would affect some of your clients. They wouldn't even need to go through your process because the city is going to the state. Is it the state or is it the city?
It's the state.
They are going to automatically start expunging some records.
What kind of records?
Yep. So automatic expungement, I'm glad that you said something key, is that so people may not even need this program. It'll still be needed because the eligibility requirements for automatic expungement and the wait periods are way more restrictive. So what's happening with automatic expungement is that the Michigan State Police, they're leading this charge. And so they have developed an automated system essentially that will go through and run people's records. And then once it runs the record, it will determine eligibility. And then if the person's convictions are eligible for automatic, then they send like a letter to the court to say, hey, this person is eligible for expungement. Now, at this point, you need to do what you need to do to expunge the record. But again, the court has the discretion to say yes or no. Automatic expungement eligibility as it stands as of yesterday, things could always change, is that you can only have 2 felonies expunged after 10 years, okay? Whereas with the traditional expungement, it's 3 felonies. You also could still possibly get 1 bad night, and it's the 3, 5, and 7-year wait period. And that's for the felonies. With the misdemeanors with automatic expungement, you can only get 4 misdemeanors essentially expunged with a wait period of 7 years, versus currently there's an unlimited amount of misdemeanors that can be expunged. Again, 3, 5, 7-year wait period. So what could happen is that somebody could get, let's just say somebody gets a felony expunged by way of automatic expungement, a 10-year-old felony, but say they have a felony that's eligible to be expunged after 3 years, then they would still have to come to us to do the traditional expungement process. So that's important to know. Also, again, if people owe the courts, nothing is getting automatically expunged.
Well,
So-
plus it looks like that doesn't start for 2.5 years anyway. So you still have something going on that they can't do for 2.5
Yeah.
years.
They just got to hold off. So,
Yeah.
It's, no, I think yesterday somebody said that about 400,000 Michiganders got their convictions automatically expunged.
Wow.
But it's a possibility that they still have things on their record that hasn't met that 7 or 10 year period, but has met that 3 or 5 year period, and we can take care of it. So
Gotcha.
it's still important to just register with us regardless, so we can really give them the information.
That's really good.
Gotcha. Now they do
This
have
is
to
a really
pay
good thing you have
$10.
done.
So they do have to pay $10 for their eye check, correct?
Her and I know some of the same people
Nope.
outside
So
of
with PCS and our process, they don't pay anything.
One
With
of her
automatic
friends
expungement,
is taking
the
a
only
guy
reason why a person would have to get a copy of their eye check is if they want to go and see if it got automatically expunged. Then yes, it's $10. Also, it's important to note that there is nothing right now written in the legislation that says that Michigan State Police has to notify these individuals and saying that things have been automatically expunged. So
they don't even know.
person
They may
won't-
not even know.
Yeah, a person won't know unless they seek it out. And then also, we don't know how fast MSP is going to get through all of these people's records. So say somebody checked their record in 30 days, is something there, and they're like, oh, I didn't qualify. In another 60 days, it could be removed. So it's on the individual to kind of keep up with that as well.
That's great. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna share the screen for your website so people can see where to go to. Terry, I'm gonna keep putting you on mute because somebody behind you wants to talk. I don't know who. But if you want to talk, just interrupt me because I know you have short periods of time when you can talk. All right, so this is the Project Clean Slate website. You'll know it by the gavel. It says it right there. If you want to volunteer, go right here to volunteer opportunities, and then go to volunteer, and you'll fill out this form. So it's going to ask you what role, and you can volunteer as a notary. It'll ask you which date you want, and then what time frame you want. So there's an all day, and then there's a morning, and there's an afternoon. You're going to put your full name, your email address, your phone number, and then if you have an organization affiliation, and then you can hit submit. If you want a copy of it, you can click here, and they're going to send it to the email that you put here. So that's all you have to do, and then wait for them to get back with you to confirm your position in whatever date that you chose. It looks like right now they've got dates almost every week into June. Are you going to be adding more after June?
We are. So actually, for the most part, April is pretty full. I think we have a half a day shift currently available on 4/20.
Okay.
But these May and June dates, we're still trying to fill up.
Okay. All right. So we want to go into May and June. So you're all good for April.
Yeah,
You're
if
looking at
anybody
May and
wanted to
June.
pick the 4/20 from, I think it's 8 to 4, somebody could sign up for that.
The all day shift.
Oh, I'm sorry, not 8 to 12. Just in
Okay.
the morning.
The morning
Yeah.
shift. All right.
Mhm.
Great. Awesome. Joanne, what is your question?
I just wanted to tell Shayla that I had signed up for the 12 to 4 already, but I didn't get an email yet.
Okay, I can for 4/20.
Yeah.
Okay, you'll probably get a confirmation or like a reminder email next week.
Okay.
Yeah, you
Sounds
should.
good.
And then I'll always do like the text messages the day before.
Okay.
So, and Shayla, where is this? Where do they go to do this? Like,
Yeah,
what's the
so it's
location?
the Detroit Police Department's 3rd precinct. And so that sits kind of like right on the corner of the Lodge Service Drive and Grand Boulevard.
Is it this address right here?
Nope, that's our main office downtown at the Coleman A. Young building.
Okay. All right. So I'm assuming then that the email that you send out tells us where to go to, like
Yep,
with the
so-
actual address.
Yep, so after somebody completes that registration form, I'll get it on my end and I'll double check the schedule, make sure that the availability is there, and I'll accept the accept that registration form on my end. And then at that point, it'll say, you know, we've got you confirmed, you're booked, here's the address, here's your time slot, here's contact info. If the time just so happens to be full already, somebody like signed up for it, then I'll reject it. And I will send a personal email saying, hey, I see you tried to sign up for this date. Looks like it may be full. Here are some of our other available dates and times. Let me know if you're interested, and I'll get them plugged in.
That's awesome. I love
Hey,
that.
Hey, Shayla, this is
Hey.
Terry. I just want
Hey,
to say
Terry.
thank you for coming and sharing
No
your
problem.
information. And I've sent you a couple emails, so I don't know if you got them yet. So
Let me look. I'm sure I did.
okay, because there was one that had the dates. I didn't get that one. Some other girls did.
I can send it again because I had responded
Okay.
to your one email about
Yeah, for
your
the
time.
12. Yeah.
And I
Gotcha.
have
Or
responded.
the,
I'll shoot it out again
Okay.
after this call.
okay, but thank you.
You're welcome.
That is wonderful. Thank you so much. Does anybody else have any questions about Project Clean Slate?
I do want to just add real quick.
I don't have any questions. I think I'm clear. I'll be the one that's volunteering tomorrow, and I'm truly looking forward to it. So thank you.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Her confirmation email also tells you where to park. You know, if you've never been to West Grand Boulevard and the lodge, it'll tell you where to park, where to go in. One thing it doesn't tell you is if you're doing an all-day shift, like how are you going to eat? Do you want to just cover that real quick? Like, what do they do if they're working all day?
Yeah, so I would suggest maybe bringing a snack or a lunch. Sometimes if people are on kind of like that crossover, kind of like within like this how do I explain it? So sometimes people will sign up for all day, but then say we might sometimes double up and have somebody come in still from the 12 to 4. That way to give that individual that's been there all day a moment to go out and get food. So we've been trying to set up things like that, but it is encouraged to bring like a snack, bring lunch. Sometime the team there will just go ahead and do like a group order of food. And then one person will run out, get the food and bring it back in. Also, clothing. I know I talked about that on a phone call earlier. I encourage people to come in something that they're comfortable in. You know, don't feel the need to have to dress in like this business casual or super professional. You can wear jeans and a t-shirt, something comfortable. Just again, because we're going to be sitting there. Come as you are, whatever makes you happy.
All right. And is there anything else that they should bring? Pens, paper clips, any of that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so I always recommend just maybe like a notebook and a pen. But generally, our attorney will have any kind of extra items that you may need. That's about it.
As a notary, you should take your journal and make sure you stand. Do they need an embosser for this or no?
No, they don't need an embosser. I was gonna say if somebody wanted to bring their laptop,
will they need a laptop for something?
You won't need it, but sometimes if we get clients who may like be no shows like back to back, you may have a window of like 10 or 15 minutes where we're just kind of sitting there idle. So sometimes team members take the time to check emails and things like that.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, would you explain parking, please?
Yeah. So when you come up off the lodge at that Grand Boulevard exit, you'll make a left at the light, and then it's essentially like that immediate left, but you have to do a little Michigan turnaround, and then you'll end up turning right on the service drive, and then the parking lot is right there on the right. So long story short, when you make that left and you see the precinct, the parking lot is directly behind the police station.
Okay, so you're entering the parking lot from the lodge. Now, is there a charge to park, a cost?
Parking is free. And what I'll do is I'll forward you an email that I used to send out of like the picture of the precinct from the top, and I'll circle the parking lot so you'll know exactly where it's at.
Okay.
Like
now, the entrance door, is that on the boulevard or will I enter from the lodge?
You enter from the parking lot.
Okay,
So
from
it's
the parking
behind the
lot.
precinct.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Okay, now the event starts at 8 o'clock, or the event starts at 9 o'clock, or?
At 8 o'clock. So our first client's appointment starts at 8.
So what time do you expect the volunteers to be there?
Yep. So generally we ask everybody to get there by at least 7:45. If people are running late, we get it. Just kind of like let us know.
Okay, perfect. And maybe off camera, could you explain the setup? I mean, off recording.
Oh, yep. So the setup, no, I can say that. So when you go pretty much when you get there and you go through the security checkpoint, the officer will ask you just to sign your name, and then literally they'll point to the room that you'll go into because it's very close to the front desk. And then once you enter into like this larger conference room, there are 4 tables. It's a check-in table. It's a table where the client will then meet with the attorney, and the attorney will go over everything. The client will then go to the notary table, which at that point they have the application and they get prepared to sign the app. And then it's a 4th table where we have a volunteer that also sits there who fills out the fingerprint card, verifies again their identity on the ID, and then they go over and they meet with an officer to do their actual fingerprinting.
And are the fingerprint cards coming back to the notary? The time I did it, and it was my first time at the police station, I ended up at the end with the fingerprint cards, but it wasn't explained to me. So let's make sure everybody knows what to do.
Was it a volunteer there? Because generally it'll be like a notary and then it'll be a volunteer. So I'm wondering if that was one of the days where maybe the volunteer didn't show up.
No, there was a volunteer at the table next to me doing the fingerprints, but the fingerprint tech, I don't know if he was an officer or not. He brought all these fingerprint cards back to me, and then I kind of had to marry them back to the application. So I ended up with the application and the fingerprint cards, a big old stack at the end of the day.
Yeah, that should have went back to the volunteer. Generally, y'all should not be doing that.
Okay.
So yeah, I can like double check with Amanda, but generally the volunteer handles that part.
Okay. And the volunteer is the person is the one
very
that's
last
verifying
person.
the fingerprints. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep, the person that's writing that information on the card.
Okay.
So just to
Go ahead.
Oh, Terry, you went out.
She's
but
at
I was
work,
gonna say,
yeah.
has anybody else volunteered and that happened? Where they had to put the cards back on the app?
Well, I was doing the fingerprints, and they were bringing it back to Lisa, which was doing the notary. And once they got finished fingerprinting and everything, they would bring the card back to her. She had them in a vanilla notebook, and then she would put them with, take the cards and put them in the vanilla notebook along with their paperwork.
Okay. I can see Lisa doing that. So maybe they have changed something in that little final process. So I'm going to say maybe I'm out the loop because I haven't been at the precinct in a while. So maybe it possibly does come back to the notary, get stapled to, not stapled, paper clipped to the application, and the stack just kind of sits there. But again, it's super simple. It's the app, it's the fingerprint card, put the card on top of the app, put the paper clip. And then Joanne, you look like you have your hand up.
Yes, I just wanted to make sure when you let them know when they come to the precinct, they have to have on a mask.
Yeah. They do ask for a mask, but once you get to the back, people kind of, if you want to keep your mask on, you can keep it on. But once they kind of go through, they take the mask off.
Will there be any kind of barrier between us and the clients, or we're just all out in the open?
Out in the open. I don't think they're bringing those tall plastic things anymore that used to sit on the table.
Okay. And one last question for me, I think in this process, at the end of the process or after it's notarized, does the application go back to the client, or does the notary pass the application to the volunteer for fingerprint?
Yeah, so that's the part now where I feel like I might be out the loop. And so the last time I was there, what would happen is that I believe the application went with them to the table with the fingerprint person. The volunteer will then get their ID because it's already out after after the app has been notarized. They take their ID, they write the information on the fingerprint card. And I believe that they left that application on the table with the volunteer because then they take their fingerprint card to get their fingerprints, and you don't want to get that ink on the application. And then they bring that fingerprint card back to the volunteer. That's how I remember it, but it sounds like maybe somewhere recently it might stay at the notary table, and then they come back with the fingerprint card and they put it with the app at the notary table, and then it's paper clipped together.
Okay.
Just confirm tomorrow when you're
Can I-
there, so you know what you're doing.
Yeah, that's what I said. I'll confirm that process tomorrow. Thank you.
Yeah. But
Okay.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
That's okay. Terry keeps coming off mute because I really think she wants to say something. So I'm going to let her say it before the doctor walks behind her again. And
okay, no, I'm actually in another room. Okay, so when you get there, they'll tell you what you need to do. But yes, there is the heavy plastic is between you, but you can still, reach each other. But they have that up there. You don't necessarily have to wear your mask once you get into the room. It's up to you. And what happens is the lawyer sits next to the notary table. She passes the paperwork to you or to the client. The client comes to sit down at the notary table when it's their turn. They give you the paperwork that needs to be notarized. And then you are giving information to the fingerprint people, and then they take that client. And then the police officer does the fingerprints. After he's done with the fingerprint, he brings it back to the notary, who puts it with the application, who puts it in a vanilla, not an envelope, but a folder, and sets it to the side. So your stack gets bigger and bigger. That's how it works.
how many people do you churn through there? Thank you for that, Terry. How many people go through there in a day? Like, what's your typical, how many notarizations can one notary expect to do?
Yeah, so we always schedule 100 people every Thursday. And so I think you could easily get somewhere between 60 to 70 notaries.
And how many notaries do you typically have there helping you?
So if somebody signs up for a full shift, it's just one, but if they do that split shift, then it's two.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. So you only need 1 to 2 people a day.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. That's good.
When I did it, Leslie, I did 100. When I got home and counted them all up, I did 100 notarizations. That might have
How
been
did your
like
hand
80
feel?
people. You know what? It was kind of fun to like sit there and just, stamp so many times in a day. But it might have been 80 people because some people have more than one document. But the number of notarizations is what I keep track of.
Wow. That's really cool. That's really cool. I've done multiple, I think my tops is 56 notarizations in a day, not volunteer, but man, did my hand hurt at the end of the day. So I can't imagine doing 100, but go for it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Joanne, your hand is still up.
I just wanted to say, I just truly believe, Shayla, that your program is great for new notaries also to get the practice on what to do.
Yeah.
So it gives you a chance to get that fear factor out also as well, because they won't know. The person on the other side is so excited about getting their record expunged. They don't know if you're new or not. They really don't care because all they want to do is just get the paper done so that they can get what they need taken care of, and then you get the pleasure of getting the knowledge.
That is a really good point, Joanne. Thank you.
Yep, I agree. So
I'm scared,
and I'm looking forward to it.
That's awesome. That is great.
Okay. Well, as always, if you have any more questions, just feel free to reach out to me. You can email me at my personal email. It's Shayla.McElroy@DetroitMI.gov. To take it from there. Do we log in the notary book? I think you all generally bring your notary book with you, and people.
Here's how that goes. So can I just answer that for you?
Please. Yeah.
By state law, if you keep a journal, every notarization you do has to go in that journal in order, chronological order. If you don't keep a journal, don't worry about it. But if you do keep a journal, which is best practice, every single notarization you do needs to be in your journal, and the the signer needs to sign your journal. So yes, the answer is yes. Okay, let's look in the chat real quick to see if we missed anything. Nope, we didn't. Awesome. All right, Shayla, I really appreciate you coming on here and talking to us today and bringing this up. If you want to come back and talk to us again in 6 months and say, hey, we need more volunteers, we're scheduling 200 people in a day, you know, come on back. We've got you. We can bring you back on, or maybe we can like promote this. We're recording it so we can promote it. You know, if you're looking for volunteers at any time, just come back to us. We've got a whole bunch of people we can get this out to. So thank you so much.
Appreciate it. See you all later. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All righty. Bye. Bye.